CES, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show.
Oh, CES.
CES.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thought you said something else. I thought we were getting political again.
I don't want to even know where your mind was wandering, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but that'll be kicking off in Vegas in a few weeks. Todd Cochran will be joining us to share what he expects to see this year, as well as what has come out of past shows. So we'll have a great conversation with Todd. Later in the show, Miss Metaverse will be joining us to give us her take on technology in 2016. At the control panel, a man wishing he could feel the burn after our lovely weather this last weekend. Producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
Oh, it was kind of nice going out this morning and not feeling, I won't say it felt tropical, although some people will claim it does, but it was nice.
Yes, I'm going to read this.
Not that bad, yeah.
One of the most basic ways to ensure food safety in your kitchen is to set your refrigerator and freezer to safe temperatures for food storage. According to the Food and Drug Administration, your fridge should be set at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. Your freezer should be set at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 18 Celsius. Why do you think I'm bringing that up, Jim?
Because it's a time of year when there will be things like ice storms and a lot of people will be losing their power periodically.
Well, because we have Todd coming on right now.
Not, but yeah.
He lives in Hawaii. I think he's from Michigan originally, but we set our freezers to 0 degrees. 36 hours ago, right where we're at, it was 31 below zero.
Yeah.
31 below. So that's 30 degrees lower than we should set our freezers for. Crazy.
I got a great trick that you can do if you're going to go away for a while and you want to make sure, there's always concern if you're away from your house, that if the power goes out for a while and the food thaws out and then refreezes, it may go bad.
Sure.
There's a little trick I found out, one of those hack things on the internet. You take a glass of water, you freeze it. You put a penny or a quarter or whatever on top of it.
Okay.
And you put it in the freezer. Now what will happen is if it thaws out, the ice will melt, the penny will fall to the bottom of the glass and then refreeze over. So if you come home and you take that glass out and you find that the penny is now at the bottom of the ice instead of at the top, you know that at some point while you were away, things got warm for a while.
That's a cool idea, actually.
Yeah. I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, that's a very cool idea. So, all right, that's our tech tip of the day.
Thank you.
So, that's great, Jim.
Cool.
So, all right, let's bring Todd on, I guess. Todd Cochran is the CEO of Raw Voice and the Blueberry Network, which we are a proud affiliate of, the Blueberry Network. And
we like our blueberries.
We do like our blueberries, and we do have blueberries occasionally here to celebrate that.
Yes, blueberry scones.
Yes, and Todd also founded the Tech Podcast Network in 24. Wow, it is Monday, Jim.
We get paid for doing this.
Obviously, my mouth has not thawed out from the weekend yet.
And mine either.
Oh my goodness, it was cold. Todd is also a visionary behind many innovations in the new media space and speaks worldwide. His personal show is Geek News Central, which is an extremely popular show online.
It's a podcast.
Yes, it is a podcast, produced twice weekly since October 2004. He also published Podcasting, the Do-It-Yourself Guide, and he was inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame in 2015. So, an amazing gentleman, Mr. Todd Cochran. Todd, how you doing, man?
Marlo, thank you so much. And it's not quite daylight here, but aloha from warm Honolulu, Hawaii.
Aloha. What else do they say in Hawaii? Book 'em, Dano, murder one. Right?
So I'm curious about your weather forecast there. I mean, do they pre-record it? The low tonight will be 74 and the high tomorrow 81, and the weatherman goes home for a week, or what?
I think so. It's like partially sunny skies with a chance of rain. I think that's always the actual the weatherman's spoke. It's basically his report. But hey, one thing that they did have news here, it got to a low of 68, and the Hawaiians that live here or have lived here all lifetime, they were wearing coats. So
that's 68.
Yes, a balmy 68.
Wow, that's cold, man.
What about a week ago? I saw something on Facebook about Hawaii getting snow. What was that all about?
Island the top of the mountain where the observatories
are.
Oh,
the top
of
the
mountain. They get snow up there.
That doesn't happen very often, though, either, does it?
Oh, every year. It just makes news because everyone thinks it's cool.
I see.
Okay.
I see. Cool, yeah. So we're going to be talking about CES a little bit, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show. How long have you been covering CES?
I think this will be my 11th or 12th year.
Wow.
I can't remember how long.
Okay. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about what we're expecting to see at CES this year, but I'm really fascinated. We'll start the discussion, I guess, with past things, maybe things that you have found in the bowels of CES that maybe have become popular over the years. But first, I think, I talk a lot about CES on the show, but I really would like your take on it. So give us maybe an overview of what CES really is.
Well, just to kind of sum it up real easily, it's like 10 to 15 football fields worth of vendors. Everything from a guy in a 10-to-10 booth who's maxed out his credit card is there for the very first time to try to get his gadget on the market to the big companies of the world like Intel that have a pavilion that you could, put 5,000 people in. It really runs the full gambit. And this year, Marlo, we've got our work cut out for us because I'm not entirely sure how we're going to be able to cover it all. It's expanded dramatically. Registration is up. Last year's attendance was, they said 130,000. This year, I would not be surprised to be at 150, and the reason why I say that, hotels are starting to sell out already, and the prices are way up on hotel rooms. That's usually a good indicator that the numbers are going to be really high.
Yeah, I know I think Friday the 6th, if I remember right, we have to move out of our hotel because it was sold out to a different location, and I swear and I know this is, a hotel that normally goes at that $100 range was in that $600 to $800 for Friday night. So, and I'm sure there are many that are in many thousands of dollars. So you're absolutely right. Hotels are very, very difficult to get right now. So, interesting. So, do you have something that you have maybe, covered in the past that maybe a year or 3 months later or whatever really took off?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. In the early days when GoPro was just coming on the market, they started out with a relatively small booth, and I don't know if they were necessarily there with their credit card maxed out, but we were one of the first few handful of companies that covered GoPro, and of course now, GoPro's a mega company with a mega product line, although they have had some financial difficulties because of competition recently. But yeah, we were one of the first groups that actually discovered GoPro and gave them some coverage. So that just goes to show you, a company starts real small, then bam, they're this huge monster company.
Absolutely. All right, I guess we're at the break already. So after the break, everybody, Todd and I will continue our conversation on CES and what to expect in 2017. And we want to thank all of our listeners who follow us on the Blueberry Network. We're also on the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. You can also find us on the Roku, iTunes, TuneIn, and our own app, Radio Pup. All kinds of great ways that you can follow the Tech Ranch later on. Joining us, the founder of the Blueberry Network. Our first time we've ever had him on the show, so I'm so excited to have him here, Mr. Todd Cochran. And Todd and I are just talking a little bit about CES. Todd, Jim had a question over the break about podcasting. I don't want to take too much away from CES, but go ahead, Jim.
Well, let's start with the big picture here, if I may, Todd. As a radio person, I'm hearing a lot about, of course, podcasting and the digital thing being the wave of the future, as it were. A lot of debate about what the fate of terrestrial radio is going to be. But what I am seeing, or what I'm not seeing yet, I'm not seeing a lot of people in podcasting who seem to be monetizing their podcast to any great extent, at least from a radio perspective. There's a couple of guys. There's that guy, Adam, what's his name? Whatever, out in California. There's Tom Likas, a couple of other people. But what I'm wondering is, from your perspective, Todd, when do you see the big breakthrough, the breaking point coming when podcasting is going to be a real moneymaker for a lot of people?
Well, the truth of the matter is it's been a moneymaker for a lot of people for a long time. But the challenge is that small shows have a very difficult time in generating significant revenue. So it's just a matter of scale, really. But what we are seeing on the radio side, it's been a big year for radio for moving into podcasting, including some small networks. Maybe it's like a 30-station network in the South, and a variety of independents. But I tell you, what it really is the with the automation in radio these days, jocks and talk drive guys, they really need to keep their options open. And I would always recommend that anyone that is currently involved in terrestrial radio today that is part of a big network, let's say, let's not even talk about any competing networks, but just say a big radio network, your job's at risk because of automation. You got one guy that's, running 50 stations or something to that effect. So, start a podcast and hedge your bet. You've already got that talent to push through and build that audience so you can monetize. And what we see is typically audience sizes in the 10,000 listeners per episode or more are doing very well monetizing their shows.
Well, that's not bad. I read somewhere one time where, and it might have been you that said it. I don't know where the exact quote came from. But the idea is if you can get 1,000 people who are willing to shell out, say, $100 a year to listen to whatever you have to offer, then right off the bat there, you've made $100,000 a year. Now, obviously, the legwork is a little more complicated than that, right?
It is.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think, rather than asking you what it is these days that is generating all the hits, I'll put it to you this way. How do you figure out what your niche is going to be? How do you make that journey and decide what you're going to talk about with the hope that it will obviously generate a fair amount of response?
Well, this is the easy one. You guys are doing it right now. You guys love tech. You like talking about tech. You're passionate about it. So for anyone that's considering a show, that passion for a topic or for a genre is important. And if you have that passion and can continuously talk about it week after week after week and I'll say this straight up front, for years on end, you'll have a very successful show. So it's just about the passion for a topic.
Yeah, so a guy who, say, is into electric trains, he could do an electric train show, and if he promotes it properly, he could get a bunch of people tuning in every week to hear about electric trains.
Absolutely, and actually those niche shows are actually much more valuable than just a general show because you can you can easily monetize through the vendors that support that particular niche.
Gotcha.
And I would imagine that, talking about model trains, for example, you're never going to get a terrestrial show to sign on for something like that, but in a podcast scenario, because you have worldwide coverage, I mean, there's 100,000 people out there that probably love model trains.
Yeah.
So,
well, certainly worldwide, there's probably 100,000 people out there who would be willing to shell out a few bucks to to make your show keep it going.
Yeah, or have an advertiser or two that would sponsor your show. Yeah. So absolutely. All right. So thank you for that, Todd.
Yep.
All right. So let's move back on to CES. So what are you expecting out of CES in 2017?
Yeah, I've been looking at the themes this year, and I mean, health has been huge for the last couple of years. I think it's going to continue to grow with the boomers, rapidly aging, monitored health, and tech health products are going to be massive. Something new this year, I'm seeing that they're going to have a pavilion set up specifically for solar-related products. That's kind of a surprise to me because that's always been kind of scatterbrained everywhere across the show. But one of the biggest things they're doing this year, and Marlo, I'm sure you know about this, the gold lot, the parking lot right across from those of you that know the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is essentially straight across from the North Hall. They are that will not be parking this year, which is, that scares me for that situation alone. But they're going to have autonomous cars out there. It's going to be all about, car tech. So obviously, we've heard in the news recently about stuff Uber's doing in San Francisco, and they're having a battle with the California DMV on whether or not they can drive these autonomous cars or not. But CES is definitely going to have a large autonomous car exhibit.
And I won't argue about the parking situation. It's already bad enough, and now they're going to take away a whole nother lot so that they can promote autonomous vehicles. However, since that is my passion, my love, I think I'll put up with the parking issue so I can ride in more autonomous cars this year.
And I think, in addition to that, a growing segment is going to be virtual reality. I know, for the majority of folks that are probably listening today, going to VR, if you want to go to like the Oculus Rift or something like that, you've got to have a massive, super-powered computer, which the majority of us don't have to do that. Although VR with the virtual reality glasses that Google set forth, where you just use your cell phone and so forth, is making inroads. But I think VR is going to be a big deal this year at the show too.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, one of the things I was looking at is there's going to be a couple companies there. I forget the name of the company right off the top of my head here, but they're going to be talking about virtual boardrooms where you put your Oculus Rift on, and we'll all have avatars. So Todd, you can have an avatar, Jim will have an avatar, and we can have virtual meetings instead of just, right now I just use a virtual seat. So if I can't make a meeting, somebody will set up a computer where I'm supposed to sit, and then I'll do that, right? Well, now we're all going to have avatars, and we'll be able to actually have meetings virtually, which is pretty amazing. So
almost a repeat of Second Life, even for those of you that remember that old VR. It wasn't even a VR, it was a virtual space. It wasn't using virtual reality, though. Right.
So, yeah, cool stuff. So when do you start up coverage this year?
Well, I'm already getting all the embargoed content, so my writers are pre-writing content. But I actually fly out of here on New Year's Eve, believe it or not, and spend New Year's Day in Vegas, kind of chilling out. But I've got meetings starting on the 3rd, so before the show actually starts. But the show's kind of weird this year. It goes Thursday through Sunday. The actual show is officially starts January 5th. So yeah, but I'm going to be tired before the show even starts, because I'll have 2 days of. Haven't been doing interviews and so forth in suites, which it's a lot easier because in a suite they always have something nice to eat, of course, a refreshing drink.
Absolutely. And where will your coverage be taking place? On your website. How do we watch that? How do we find out more about CES this year?
Sure, it could be on my website at geeknewscentral.com. We'll also be posting stuff over on the Tech Podcast Network site at tpn.tv. Most importantly, for folks that are listening and do subscribe to podcasts, just subscribe to the special media feed, and there's a link to that on the Geek News Central website. All the content from CES will be coming down the special media events feed, and it'll be available, and they can watch it as a podcast. And that isn't said too often. Instead of listen to it as a podcast, they can watch it as a podcast.
Very, very cool. And any predictions for this year coming out of the show?
Well, something we always do every year is to find out what the price point is. So last year, the price point was $99.99 on products. That was the price point. I'm expecting, because the economy has gotten, they say the economy has gotten better. I'm expecting the price point on gadgets this year to be in the $299 range, stuff that you really want to bust out the credit card for. So my prediction is the price point this year will be $299 on the stuff we all want to buy.
I've never heard this scenario from you before. That's interesting. So up to this point, the last few years, you're thinking that most gadgets and things were trying to strive for that $99.99 point, so it wasn't really something that you had to think a lot about. You're really thinking it's going to go another $200 above that this year.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's usually about that price. But when the economy kind of fell off, and for a few years there, it was down lower, and I fully expect it to be back up at that $299 range. If you just look at like 360 cameras and GoPros, they're all hovering around that $299 to $400 range. But I'm expecting $299 this year to be the price point. We'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Todd, a pleasure. We'll have to do this more often. Everybody, find Todd at geeknewscentral.com. And if you're interested in podcasting, go to Blueberry. That's BLUBRRY. We're a proud subscriber ourselves right here at the Tech Ranch. So thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Right now, it's 25.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. supertalk1270.com.
Oh, thank you, baby.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So what are we listening to, Jim?
It's a song called Christmas in Las Vegas.
I love this. We'll just have to let it play for 10 or 15 seconds here.
Yeah, I especially love the opening.
I do, too.
Pure Elvis.
It is. It's fantastic. I love it. Of course, we're playing this because we were just talking about CES coming up in Las Vegas.
What's Christmas like in Las Vegas?
It's quiet.
Really?
It's surprisingly quiet. We've been in Vegas a couple times on Christmas, and in fact, I think we had to work hard one year just to find a buffet to eat. We thought that Christmas buffets would be just rampant in town.
Well, you know the trick there to the buffet when you got some ribs or something, and people are eyeing the ribs. You walk up to them, you pick one up, and you kind of look at it like, yeah, it doesn't look spoiled to me. And they walk away, and you help yourself.
And you have all the ribs you want,
all the ribs you want, yeah.
That's funny. That's great. Well, joining us from I'm betting it's kind of cold in New York today, too.
And probably a little nippy.
Yeah, probably colder there than it is here,
Well,
actually.
again, Christmas in New York is one of the most unique experiences in the world.
Yes, and actually, we'll have to visit with Katie about that. So, of course, Miss Metaverse. Katie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing fine as well. So, before we get into your emerging tech picks of 2016, tell us a little bit about Christmas in New York.
Christmas in New York is nice. I mean, it's definitely changed a lot. There's been a lot of things that have happened to kind of make a shift from like that classic Christmas feel to something, a little bit different. But, I have to say it's here on Long Island, it's a lot different. It's really nice to have everyone, makes their houses all lit up with all the lights and decorations, and it's really cute. I like it out here.
So have you ever gone to the lighting of the Rockefeller tree?
Yes. That is really nice to go see for sure. The tree is, I don't remember how big it is. I probably haven't gotten to go see it in like maybe 2 years or so.
Okay.
But it is really nice. It's, you go over there and then they have the ice skating rink, and it's a gorgeous ice skating rink right below it, right over in Rockefeller Plaza.
Sure.
And also too, Fifth Avenue, all the windows. The windows are probably the coolest thing to go see on Fifth Avenue, because you walk up and down Fifth Avenue, up around Midtown, like 57th Columbus Circle. And when you're over in that area, you just see all like the beautiful department store windows. It's gorgeous. It's really, really, really awesome to go see everything all dressed up. It's really cute. It's almost like little like Christmas worlds in each window to go see. So it's definitely a must see.
Silver bells. Well, that song is about Christmas time in New York City.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Specifically. Well, Christmas time in the city. What city?
Sure. I guess that's true. I guess I never thought about that before. Yeah, that's cool. I need to add that to my bucket list. I've never been to New York at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah. Got to check it out.
Yeah, I got to check that out sometime. So, all right, Katie. We're going to talk a little bit about the year that was, 2016. And I task you with maybe picking some of the technologies that have emerged, or maybe some trends or whatever that you see coming out of 2016. So it's your show, Miss Metaverse. Take it away.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. I mean, what a year this has been, right? I mean, this year has been just absolutely crazy. But I guess we've been kind of getting ready for a lot of changes and, a lot of really new, cool, futuristic technologies coming out. And it finally feels like we're living in the future. I think I'd like to start off with probably the biggest theme of the year, and I think that would be virtual reality, right?
Okay.
Because this year, right, all of the major VR platforms and headsets came out. So you had Oculus Rift, which were released in March 28th, 2016, earlier this year. And then a month later, we had HTC Vive, which is another really popular, amazing headset, which is they released on April 5th. And then we have PlayStation VR, which is the most recent one, which is really, really cool. when we look back on all the different gaming stations that we've had, like PlayStation, 2, PlayStation 4 is the most recent one, and then now PlayStation VR. It's just amazing to see how far we've come in just a brief amount of time, really, if you look back on it. So anyway, PlayStation VR is here. It released on October 13th, and now we'll be playing video games in virtual reality and actually have the headset on and be inside the world. So it's really cool. Very excited about that.
So are you thinking that we're actually going to be in a scenario where you'll be actually immersed in Mario's world?
Absolutely, yes. It's going to be really cool. I mean, I think what's happening now is we're seeing that everything is here now. Now the headsets are here. Now people are buying it. It's going to become more affordable, I think, in the future as well, and more accessible to more people. We're going to see a big shift towards virtual reality. I really think so. Mixed realities, which is a combination of virtual reality and augmented reality. So the two together is going to be the future. We'll see. I think we'll see both. I think we'll see elements of augmented reality where we have games that become part of our room. So it's like we're playing as if our room that we're in transformed into the game. And then we also have virtual reality where we put the headset on and we're inside the world and we're in a completely different world. It's amazing to feel like to be in that virtual space and be interacting with people. It's pretty cool. And it's going to keep on getting more realistic and more exciting. So, and also I think a highlight on VR too is I actually watched a book release. It was a talk on like a new book that came out. It was by it was Robert Scoble and Shel Israel came out with their new book on augmented reality. I think it's called The Fourth Transformation. Definitely awesome read. Go check it out. And on Facebook, they had a live stream of this book talk, and it was in virtual reality. And they had all these people who were avatars in this virtual space, and it was like going to a conference in virtual reality, in VR. And it was really cool to see. So you could actually find that video on Facebook or on YouTube, too. That's
pretty cool. So can you maybe give us an idea about what augmented reality is and what we'll see there?
Yeah, so augmented reality, it's like I mentioned before. It's where you're going to be transforming the space that you're in, by putting a digital overlay over that. So it's like using your camera phone and then using your camera phone to play Pokemon Go. That was a huge one. Augmented reality was another huge one. Like I just said before, Pokemon Go, it became a huge, huge game. I mean, that game just blew up overnight, and it was like everyone was playing it. And I think it released, in June?
Something like that, yep.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was like everybody who never even heard of augmented reality before, everyone was out there going to their local park or their church or wherever and playing Pokemon Go. So it was really cool to see so many people not in the tech world going out, checking out this technology, having fun with it. And I think that was definitely a big part of this year, too, is seeing not only this type of technology come out, but actually become a phenomenon, like a sensation. People really loving it.
Right. So what about if you're going to do a repair on a car or your refrigerator or something like that, is there things that are going to be coming out with augmented reality that will help you with that?
Yes, absolutely. So that's going to be the next thing. Augmented reality is changing a lot. You have companies like Magic Leap who had, really exciting prospects about what they would be coming out with. We're still not sure what they'll be coming out with exactly, but, I know that they're going back to the drawing board and coming up with something exciting. So that's going to be huge. We have Microsoft HoloLens, which looks amazing. It's a little bit pricey. It's about $3,000 for the development kit, I believe. But all this technology is getting better and better. So within the next year, this is just the beginning of it. So we're lucky, we're here. we're seeing all these things unfold. And, yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting for sure.
So I'm going to pull Jim in just for a second here, if you got a second there, Jim. So what about, like, have you ever used augmented reality or virtual reality?
Have I? No, yeah. I'd love to.
Okay.
I'd love to try it out.
Okay. So you've never actually been immersed in where you put the glasses on and the dinosaurs are attacking you and all this other stuff?
Yeah, well, of course, the one I remember from when I used to go to when I lived at the Jersey Shore back in the early 90s, we had an arcade on the boardwalk that had one of these things where you could put on the glasses and it was like you were boxing.
Okay.
And what they tell me is, I never tried it, but what they tell me is psychologically, when the guy hits you in the face, you really feel it being hit in the face.
You know, I was in the Oculus Rift booth at CES last year, and they had this room that you were in.
Yeah.
And I was in this like 10-minute demo of the things, and I swear it felt like I was about ready to be eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about ready to run as I'm virtually running away from this. I come up to this cliff, and I look down, and I got very queasy. I mean, I know my mind is telling me that I'm on a solid floor, but yet it looked like I was, hundreds of feet above this off this cliff, So I felt like I was about ready to fall off the edge of this thing. It's amazing how realistic
I do want to try
is.
the martial arts and the boxing thing.
Oh, yeah, that would be very,
just to
very
see
cool.
if that's really true, that when they hit you in the nose, you kind of feel that sting for a second, if only in your head.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of amazing things that are going to be coming out of virtual reality, augmented reality. I actually think that augmented reality and virtual reality are going to get blurred a little bit moving forward. What's your thoughts on that, Katie?
Yes, exactly. So that's called mixed realities, and that's already becoming a popularized term. You're seeing, people having to talk about one or the other, and it's like, well, where do the two meet? And that is actually what's happening now. Is we're seeing companies break out of the box of being like, okay, we're just working on VR, we're just working on AR. You mean virtual reality or augmented reality?
Yep.
Now with mixed reality. I saw something really cool the other day. I think it was called Bridge, and Bridge is this. It's this specialized device. You put your iPhone in, and it transforms your iPhone into this super high tech augmented reality thing. That it's like all of a sudden it transports you into another world, and it's VR and AR. So it's really cool to see.
Yep.
You know where they're going to make a mint on this is in the porn industry. I'll leave it at that.
All right, we'll continue our conversation with Miss Metaverse after the break.
Right now, it's 26.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
One piece of advice for you, Marlo.
All right.
Let me do that.
Okay.
Date robots.
I can't date robots?
Don't date robots.
Oh, my goodness.
That's from Futurama, of course. I got to play a little bit of this.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
It's my all-time favorite Christmas Time in New York City song from U2. Me 3.
And B4.
Talking about Frankie Crocker on WBLS Radio. Best line ever coming up right here.
All right.
I
love this song.
Oh, man.
Love
New York
this
like
song.
a Christmas tree.
Good stuff right there. Of course, coming to us from Long Island.
From Long Island.
Long Island.
Ow.
Miss Metaverse.
How far are you from Massapequa, Katie?
What?
We know what Jerry Seinfeld said about Massapequa. It's his hometown. And he said it comes from an old Indian word meaning near the shopping mall.
Wow, I totally believe it because there is a giant shopping mall there.
I think
giant, but...
I think all of Suffolk County is one giant shopping mall, actually.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're talking about emerging tech of 2016. We just had a lengthy discussion on
and don't
VR.
date robots.
On don't date robots, right?
What? That's blasphemy.
I know. To you, that is actually. We know. We'll have to have that conversation some other time, though. Jim has a brand new idea for a podcast show that he wants to visit with you about sometime, I think.
Oh, great. All right. Awesome. Let's do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Robots.
Cool. Well, how about this? Because I want to share with you some really cool stuff
Okay.
before we go.
Yeah.
So how about the biggest disappointment of 2016?
Oh, that'd be cool.
in the tech world?
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't involve sex with robots. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll shut up.
definitely not.
I'll shut up.
This is the least sexy robot in the whole world.
Ew.
But it is a robot. So do you guys remember the Jibo robot that came out like around 2014?
Refresh our memory.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was around, I think it was around June 2014. It was a couple months before I joined you guys, actually, on the Tech Ranch. It was, I think I joined the Tech Ranch in September-ish 2014.
Okay.
Right.
So it's so funny because this Jibo robot, it's supposed to be this cute robot for the home. They call it the world's first social robot for the home. And it came out in Indiegogo, and they had this great video of a guy walking in the door, and this robot kind of reminds me, it looks like Hal almost from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Okay.
So, because it looks like it has like a white base, and it's not humanoid exactly, but it has like almost like a big circle on it, and then it like projects different images, so it talks to you, and it seems like it's a humanoid robot. Anyway, so this campaign on Indiegogo ended up raising $3.7 million in just a couple months, and that was back in September 2014. Now, I was one of those early backers. I was one of the first backers because I found it when it first came out. And I was really excited about it at the time. But, you know, over 2 years have passed, and everyone's been like, where is this thing? Is it ever going to ship? What is the deal? So here's what I experienced. From December, first of all, the shipping was supposed to be in December 2014. Then it got shipped, the shipping date got pushed back to April 2015. Then from April 2015, it got pushed back to October 2015. Then again to April 2016, so this year. And then again, they, in 2016, at this last update, April, they said that they were going to push it back to December, which should be this month.
Yeah.
And when they also made that announcement, they said, oh, by the way, we're not shipping internationally anymore. So all the people from, I think, 45 countries that donated to the Jibo campaign were given a link to ask for a refund and just told that they won't be getting it. Now, we're hearing December 2016 and still no Jibo. So I give the biggest disappointment of 2016 to Jibo.
That's too bad. That's too bad. And it sounds like you were excited to get this.
I was totally excited to get this because I have a daughter. She's 4.5 years old now. And, you know, she loves robots. And it's funny because back then I didn't know she was going to love robots, but I guess it runs in the genes.
Could be.
She loves robots. So, you know, she was excited. I showed her the video and everything. And I at this point, I don't know if I should ask for a refund or just try to stick it out a couple more months because it was so long.
Sure.
You know, I don't know. Maybe we should, I'll tweet this out. You guys can answer on Twitter and tell me what you think.
Okay, we can do that. So, but would you agree, though, that 2016 certainly was the year of household robots, you know, and I'm thinking along the lines of robotic vacuums,
The Roomba
and
with the cat riding around.
Yes, and then of course there's a lot of stuff coming out now with robots that'll do your windows. I've got one on order that'll do my driveway now, so and mow my grass. So I think people are becoming more accepting of these devices.
Yeah.
I think think we're becoming more accepting of the idea of robots being in our lives in general. And yes, that is definitely a part of it. I'll never forget. I think it was back around April-ish of this year. I was in Bed Bath & Beyond, and there was a woman who was losing her mind, going, I saw the you guys had the grill bots on your website, telling me there's no grill bots. I'm like, what the heck is a grill bot? Okay, so I end up finding out it's like a little robot that like cleans the grill.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Interesting.
I know.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, I think more and more people they understand what it is. I mean, I don't know what I do. Well, I mean, I know what I do. I'd have to vacuum my house, but I love the fact that I get about 2 hours of time back every week because I don't have to vacuum everywhere anymore. We don't vacuum our office hardly anymore. Very seldom outside of the stairs vacuum the house because the robots do it now. It's fantastic.
Well, the thing with a grill, a robot for a grill though, is traditionally. If you want to clean your grill, you just leave it out. I'm not making a joke. A lot of people do this. They just leave it outside a couple nights and let the bugs do the rest. They just rinse it off and you're good to go. I know it sounds gross, but it's true. Yeah, the bugs will come out and eat all the stuff off.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. It sounds kind of gross.
Hey, yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks for that. Yeah. A little extra seasoning.
I don't know why I'm here today, actually.
It's because you got up early this morning.
That's right.
You're still suffering from the 30 below from yesterday.
I think so.
Well,
the cat got me out of bed this morning.
Yeah, we've gone, Katie, this is crazy. It was 31 below 36 hours ago, and it's now 30 above zero. We've gone 60 degrees in 36 hours. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Stop. My goodness.
Back to where we're supposed to be, because this is about what we should be at this time of year. So yeah, we're going to share that with Long Island, though. So hopefully in a day or two, you're going to get that 30 below stuff out there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever experienced 30 below in my life.
I love that out in Islip and Hamptons.
We were just talking in the early part of the show here that the Food and Drug Administration recommends that you set your freezer for 0. So, for to preserve your food, right? We were 31 degrees below your setting for your freezer. How cold is that?
Oh, that is crazy. I mean, we dipped down to, I think, it was around 11 degrees the other day.
Yeah.
And, I was outside, and I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't feel my legs. What do you guys do? I mean, you want to talk about tech. How do we let's figure out, how do you guys stay warm out there?
Well, I think we do just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you
people here are very stoic. They just shrug it off. It's that German thing, I think.
The saying around here is when it gets to 20 below, you zip your jacket up. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yep. Really?
Because today, I mean, we're getting up to near 30 today, and you just know, and I'm totally serious about this, there are going to be people out today in flip-flops and tank tops.
Do you see a coat on me right now?
No.
Did I wear a coat when I came in?
Well, I assume you had one on when you came in.
I did not.
No? Well.
So there you go.
So you shouldn't do that. You don't expose yourself to the elements too much.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of... won't even go there, Jim.
Yeah. Well, you used to tell us that when they were kids, you get a semi-warm day after a real cold day, and you want to run out there with no coat on. But that's
true.
Not healthy.
It is not healthy. That's correct. Sorry, Katie, we cut you off there.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, we could be like those kids over, I forget where it was. Was it Russia? I think it's somewhere in Russia. They have kids go through like this winter like playtime routine that they have where they all go. I mean, we're talking like ages 4 to like high school, doing this thing where they go and they sit in a sauna for like an hour or something, and they get really warm, and then they go out into the snow, and then they play in the snow and just and be down in like their underwear and just let like the cold take over them, and then they dump hot water over their heads, and then they think that's good for their health. And
wow.
It's just amazing to me.
I think that's a rite of passage when you're in the Army and you go to Little America in the Antarctic. They do that too.
Yeah. All right, everybody, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you again in 2017.